So you're thinking about moving to Austin, Texas. Well, let's get into it. What are the pros and cons of moving to Austin? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Dominique, I'm a realtor here in Austin, and we talk all things real estate related in the greater Austin area. So I have some notes here. I am a Texas native. I've lived here my whole life. I've lived in Austin over 20 years. I moved here in 2000. So I am a little bit biased. I have to say, I love living in Texas, but I tried to make it really balanced. But I thought that we could first start out with the positives. I just like to start off on a positive note. The first thing I have on my list is friendly locals. I think some people might think that people here may be fake or it's fake, but I think until you come here and you realize how friendly people actually are, like, it may not seem genuine, you know? And I think I don't appreciate how friendly people are until I travel outside of the state. You know, I've had some experiences, I won't name any cities, I won't name any states, but you know, I have had some experiences where I felt less than welcomed, you know, in that particular place. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I just feel like people have a genuine friendliness here. People are very open to talking with you if they don't know you, like at the grocery store. Now, you may have, that may be something that you're gonna have to get used to. Like if you go to the grocery store and people chatting you up. Friendly locals, definitely a plus to Austin. Now, the second thing that I have on my list is nature and outdoors. So if you don't live here, you may have this idea of what you think Texas is, and usually a lot of people think it's horses, cowboy boots, and flat land, desert. Now, of course, you know, it's going to be a lot more flat than, you know, the East Coast. We're gonna have a lot smaller trees, things like that, but it is very beautiful. We do have a hill country here with tons of trees. There are tons of, there's lots of hiking and biking available here. There's, of course, Lake Travis, Lake Austin. If you would like to go out on the lake but you don't have access to a boat, there are parks that you can go to where you can swim in Lake Austin. So a really popular one is Emma Long Park, and that one's really great because they kind of have a very large swimming area that they block off so that, you know, you're safer from boaters, jet skis, etc. There's also camping there, there's picnic tables. So it's just a very big park that you can hang out and enjoy the lake. Another really popular park on the lake is Commons Ford, and that's a smaller park, a little bit more laid back. There's not really like a bunch of amenities, it's just a big open park, but a lot of people go hang out there, jump in the water, and it's super great. And there's no cost to get into Commons Ford. So Barton Springs is another super popular pool in Austin. It's a spring-fed pool. It's just south of downtown Austin, and I actually don't love Barton Springs. I haven't been in years, but it's super popular. People love it. I'm just weird. It's very, very cold, so people like to go and do a cold plunge at the beginning of the year. That's really popular. The reason I don't like it is because there's lots of like plants at the bottom, and it kind of freaks me out. I have a little fear of deep water where I can see plants and animals. I know, it's strange, but anyway, it's a very popular pool, so definitely check that one out. Another popular place that you want to check out is the Barton Creek Greenbelt. It's just off of Mopac, right at 360. We actually used to live in an apartment over off Barton Creek Greenbelt, and it was so fun just to like take a hike and see all the beautiful animals. But if you are on the west side of Mopac, go to the Barton Creek Greenbelt. It's a long hike, and there is a watering hole over there called Sculpture Falls. Super popular, beautiful, definitely a spot that you want to check out in the middle of summer when it's hot and you need to cool off. Lots of people go there, you know, bring a cooler, bring comfortable shoes. It is a hike to get up to Sculpture Falls, but it's definitely worth it. And a pro tip, if you're going to be going out there, is to make sure to check the water levels before you go out there, because, you know, you want to make sure that there's enough water to swim in. So overall, I just think Austin is a great place to enjoy the outdoors. And of course, in addition to that, there's just a ton of stuff to do in the city. So it's a fun city, what can I say? The next thing I have on my list is the weather. Now this will probably be on the con side as well, but I'll just go ahead and jump into why I think it's a pro. I love the weather. Yes, it gets hot here, but it's just beautiful sunshine, you know, almost year round. You know, my favorite time of the year is spring and fall because it does get a little bit cooler, but I don't mind the summers. I know that they do get hot, but you know, we're just constantly either we're inside or we're at the lake, you know, or in some sort of body of water enjoying, you know, the season, enjoying the summer. So the heat does not bother me and I'm totally used to it. In fact, when we visited California, it actually, when it's in the 70s, it's a bit cold for me and I need a little sweater. Like I'm just not used to, I'm not used to that weather. And for example, we went to my son's baseball game the other night and it was 65 and all of us baseball moms were like huddled. We're like, it's freezing, you know, we're not used to chilly weather. That's chilly for us. Like if it gets to be 65, you know, going under 70, we're like, it's cold, you need a jacket. I love the weather, I love the sunshine. Of course, you know, we do have some rain, but it's not a constant thing here. And we do have a very strange winter. So, you know, we just had a ice storm a week and a half ago. So, you know, that's very odd. Our city isn't used to weather like that, but you know, it does happen every few years. And so we're kind of stuck for a few days and then we slowly get back to normal. So yeah, but I just love the sunshine. I think it's good for my mood and I get to enjoy all of the fun activities around the city because we have beautiful sunshine and weather almost year round. Okay, another pro of living in Austin, living in Texas, is we do not have a state income tax. I'm sure you may know that or have heard that and might even think it's odd, but the state gets taxes through sales tax and use taxes. So mainly sales tax and property tax. So anytime you go to the grocery store and you go to purchase something, it's gonna be 8.25% on average sales tax for, you know, whatever products you're purchasing. And then for taxes, they vary. For property taxes, they vary across the city. In Austin, it's gonna be about 2% is the tax rate in Austin, and then surrounding areas range from 1.6 up to about 2.3%. That's gonna be where the state gets most of the income and why we don't have a state income tax. So definitely a plus, no state income tax. So the last thing that I have on my list, of course there are way more pros I feel like to Austin, but I've gotta stop it somewhere. But the last thing I feel that's really important is the strong job market here in Austin. We have so many tech companies in Austin. We have Apple, IBM, Dell, there's Samsung that's coming to Taylor. Of course, we have Tesla that just got here. We have the University of Texas that provides a ton of jobs to the community. All of these things contribute to our strong job market. And when you look back at like 2008, 2009, when we had the housing market crash, you know, of course, there were a lot of factors that contributed to that, but we did fare well compared to the nation. And I looked at the statistics from like 2021 for unemployment. And while the nation was, you know, at an 8% unemployment rate, we remained in the 6% range. Of course, there are other Texas cities that are popular and have people moving to them, but there's just something about Austin, the heart of Austin. Even though we've seen a lot of changes, you know, over the last 20 plus years in Austin and the surrounding cities, you know, I feel like it still does have a lot of heart. Change isn't easy, growth isn't easy. When you have a lot of different people from all over the country coming to move here, of course things are gonna change, it's gonna look different. You know, I go downtown and I don't recognize it as what it was, obviously. It's changed a ton, even in the last few years, things have changed. But, you know, I still think that there's something really special about this city and I still love it. Okay, let's get to the cons because I know that's what y'all have been waiting for, at least I think it is. Okay, so the first thing that I have on my list is traffic. And there's no way to get around it. We have a lot of traffic. Now, you know, I've never lived in another big city. I've visited, you know, California. It's been a long time since I've been in New York. The last time I was in New York, I was a kid, but you know, for me, we do have a lot of traffic, especially, you know, like I said, I've been here since 2000 and I've seen the traffic increase year over year. I've lived from Round Rock to South Austin to downtown to Cedar Park. I've lived all over town. And I've commuted in the past from Round Rock, you know, to downtown Austin, and it used to not be that bad. Unfortunately, when, you know, with city planning, when they built the roads, we basically have I-35 and we have Mopac. Mopac was built in the 70s, and we don't have a proper loop around the city like other large metropolitan areas have. You know, Dallas and Houston are set up way better than Austin in regards to roads. So it can be hard to get from, you know, North Austin all the way to South Austin, even though it's not very far. So sure, you can get, you know, something cheaper in different parts of the city, but your commute, you know, that's something important that you want to consider. Are you willing to, you know, sit in traffic for 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on where you're living? The city has expanded. There is a metro rail that goes from downtown Austin to Leander. And, you know, I don't think it's utilized as much as it should be utilized because after all, we are Texas and people are used to driving in cars. But it is something that is available. Yeah, we don't have a proper loop around the city. They have built over the years. We have, if you're going on Mopac, it runs into 45, which will take you over to Round Rock, and then that connects over to Toll 130 on the east side of Austin, and then that goes south, basically. We have a larger loop than I think we should have, and it's not yet completed. So hopefully it will eventually, but it's still not the best setup, you know. But what are we gonna do? We can't go back in time and they can't change it. So traffic. Traffic is no joke here. Okay, the next thing I have on my list is allergies. And I don't know if y'all heard of this, but it's definitely a thing. I didn't have allergies for probably 5 years when we moved here, and then all of a sudden I had bad allergies. I have cedar allergies. It gets really bad in January and February. If you look on the news, they will show the pollen making its way across the city, and it's just insane. To me, cedar is the worst, but you know, we also have mold, oak, things that affect people throughout the year. Luckily, those don't affect me, but they definitely affect residents of Austin. So it's definitely something that you want to consider if you are prone to allergies. It's definitely not fun. Yeah, I have to take allergy medicine, and I have my Nasonex that I take, and I just try to get by in January and February until the cedar goes down. It's definitely something that you want to consider if you're making a move to Austin. Okay, the next thing that I have on my list is the weather. And I know that that was on the pros list, but if you're not used to this kind of heat, it gets hot here. It gets hot. 2022 had the second highest temperatures recorded. We had an average temperature of 88.8 over the course of last summer, and we had 52 straight days of temperatures above 100 degrees. It's hot. I'm used to it. I don't mind it. I love the heat. Like I said, like I get cold if it's under 70 degrees. It's 75 right now. It's pretty nice outside. One thing I will say is that I was pregnant over a summer and I was fine. I stayed inside. I went to the pool. Like, it can be done. You either have to be inside in the AC or you have to go and be in some body of water and you'll do fine. The other thing is the weather is unpredictable. You're not gonna get 4 seasons. You know, we get a little bit of spring, a lot of summer, a little bit of fall, and then a tiny bit of winter. But like I said, it's 75 degrees today. It's beautiful outside, but a week and a half ago, we had an ice storm, and you know, we had 2 trees fall down, lost a bunch of limbs on the trees. We're not built for this. We're not used to it with the roads. Our trees aren't used to this kind of weather. They don't do well in it. So yeah, it's a little bit unpredictable this time of year. So that's something that you would have to get used to if you moved here. Okay, the next thing that I have on my list is high property taxes. I talked about that a little bit earlier when I was talking about no state income taxes, but the fact that we don't have a state income tax means that we do have high property taxes. It's 2% in Austin, around there, and it varies in, you know, the suburbs around Austin. In 2020 and 2021, the housing market was super competitive. We saw price increases of 30 to 40%. Obviously, the property taxes skyrocketed. They're very high compared to other cities across the nation. So it's definitely something that you want to consider when you're looking at, you know, what you're budgeting for. You want to include the property taxes in there. Of course, you want to include property taxes, HOA, your insurance, all of those things when you're looking at what you want your monthly payment to be. Now, I have heard that the governor is looking at reducing the property taxes very soon. So fingers crossed. I definitely hope that that happens, because we've seen a huge jump. Now, once you do purchase a home, there is a cap every year of 10% that they can raise your property taxes. But of course, if you sell, if you buy a new house, you know, you're gonna see that increase. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, which I kind of just touched on a little bit, is the housing market is competitive, and that includes rentals. Now, things have definitely cooled down, as you've seen in the news. You know, things started to slow down about April. We started to see things shift because of the hike in interest rates. So, you know, things have kind of calmed down. So it's actually a really good time to look if you're a buyer, because there's, you know, sellers that are looking to make deals. Some of them have been on the market for a long time, or they were on the market, they took the house off the market and they put it back on the market. We don't really know what's gonna happen this year. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. The interest rates have been really volatile. A couple of weeks ago, they dropped to, I think, 5.8% about there, and they've gone up to about 6.5%. Compared to the rest of the nation, Austin has remained a strong market for real estate, especially like I mentioned before, because of the strong job market. You know, people always do need housing, and we do not have enough inventory. So as interest rates kind of settle down and hopefully lower, we're hoping to see, you know, things kind of get back to a level of normalcy for the city. But I think it's actually a really good thing, because it was really hard for buyers when it was so competitive, you know, in 2020, 2021. I mean, we were, you know, putting offers on 10 plus houses, buyers getting discouraged. We would eventually find the right one, but it was definitely a hard market to compete in. Another thing is rents have increased. You know, I remember my first apartment in Austin was off Mopac in North Austin, and I loved that little apartment. My rent, I actually at the time I worked in property management, so I had a discount, but my rent I think was $705, and then I had a 20% discount. But we definitely had apartments that were, you know, $600. So things have changed. Even 10 years ago, I remember you could get an apartment for, you know, a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,000. That's not the case anymore. Now, on average, of course, it depends on the area of town that you're in, but on average, 1-bedrooms are averaging, I think the median is in the 1400s, and the median for 2 bedrooms is 1700 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Now, of course, the closer you are to downtown, you're not gonna get something that cheap. You know, the prices are definitely gonna be higher, and then the further you go out, the better deals you can find. Rents are continuing to increase in Austin, which is why I always encourage everybody to buy something as soon as you possibly can. I wish that I had bought sooner than I did. I remember there's so many houses that we visited a condo on the east side in like 2009 or 2010, I think, and it was $100,000. It was not big. I mean, it was like 800 square feet, open concept, kind of studio feel, industrial, so cute. I still wish we would have bought it. We had no money at the time, but now looking back, I wish we would have figured something out, borrowed, you know, just something. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, we didn't. But I just encourage you, the sooner you can buy, the better, you know, just start building that equity. The first house that I bought, it wasn't my dream house. This house that I'm in now, it's not my dream house. There's things that I would change. There's always gonna be things, but we've changed a lot. It was built in 1980, so we've changed a ton, but there's still things that I would change. There's, I have dreams of having different houses and what I consider like my dream house, but we've just purchased what we can in our different seasons of life. And, this house has more than doubled since we bought it. So, yeah, I would just encourage you, if you've been renting for a while and you want to buy, but you don't know how to make it happen, let me know. Let's chat about it and see what I can do to help you, you know, just get started with the process so you know what you need to do in order to get there. Okay, I know that I've been long-winded. I don't even know how long this video is gonna be, but it's gonna be longer than I thought it was, but that's okay. The last thing that I have on my list is, and it's funny because it was on the pros side, I talked about the friendly locals, but okay, so the last thing that I have on my list, it's funny because I also listed it as a pro, but you know I said before that locals are friendly, but some locals may not be happy that you're moving here. Californians, unfortunately, they get a bad rap, and I get it. I mean, if you've been a resident here, if you lived here for a long time, you don't like to, I don't like to see that I could buy an apartment or I could rent an apartment for $500, and now if I tried to go rent that same apartment, it's, you know, $1,500. I don't like that. You know, I don't like that there's more traffic. There's things that I don't like, and it's not the people. I mean, although I guess there could be, you know, some people, but, you know, it's just more crowded than it used to be. It's harder to get into restaurants, you know, so some locals don't like outsiders. And so I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. One of the things I've noticed too over the years is drivers used to be a lot friendlier here than they are now. And I don't know if people are just, you know, mad that there's more traffic, you know, there's just more road rage. I don't know what's going on, but people won't let you in as much as they used to. They're just not as friendly. There's more honking, you know, things like that, things that I'm not used to. And I notice when I visit other cities like California, that drivers aren't friendly. That's kind of becoming more of a norm here than it used to be. But you'll meet your people, it'll be okay. Just, you know, talk to the people that are friendly, because I think there's far more friendly people and more open people than there are those who are not. Okay guys, that is the end of our pros and cons list. I know that was a lot of information. I hope I didn't overwhelm y'all, but I hope that it was helpful for you. I love this city. Like I said, I've been here, it feels like I've lived here longer than I ever lived in Corpus, which is where I was born. But yeah, I love so many things about this city and the surrounding areas. I've lived in a ton of the suburbs to Austin as well. I've loved all of the seasons of life and the different areas that I've lived in, that I've gotten to live in this city. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of Austin? Have you been here before? Are you thinking of moving here? And of course, if you are thinking of moving, and then whether it's in the next 30, 60, 90 days, I would absolutely love to help you. I'd love to be a resource for you. My contact info is in the description below. Feel free to drop me a line and let's connect and see how I can help you. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay connected with me, and I will see y'all very soon in the next video.